I actually, heard from a story from another survivors that, they said that one of the things that kept them, focused on the wife was, I think it was one of the firemen who just stood in the middle of the building at the first floor and just sank, in order to give them direction, which I think is such an interesting way of how connected to each other people are and what sort of subconscious comfort we give each other, So,
well, we all had to work to make sure that people didn't panic, and then we all got out, which we did.
Yeah. At some point during your journey through all the floors, did you experience any specific obstacle that made things harder for you, or was it just about keeping this calm mentality and going through the process?
It was just a matter of focusing. We didn't have any problems going down the stairs.
Yeah, amazing. So everything finishes, and your wife and the people with your wife. How did you feel when it all finished and you understood what you've just experienced and what you've went through?
Well, I think I got home about 7 that night, and my wife and a longtime friend met me at the train station and drove me home. I think we were in shock for days, really. Who could have thought that somebody would deliberately crash into the towers?
Yeah.
But it happened, and the next day, Karen, my wife, suggested I should call Guide Dogs for the Blind, where I've gotten all of my dogs, and tell them that we were in the World Trade Center and got out, because several people from the school had visited us at various times in the World Trade Center, and somebody would eventually remember it. So I called and I talked to people, and among others spoke to Joanne Ritter, who was the public information officer, and she put out a story, and she said the media is going to pick it up, and she actually ended up arranging for me to be on Larry King Live on CNN on the 14th of September. Was the first of 5 interviews with Larry. But then I started getting just literally hundreds of calls from the media asking if they could come and get the story. And then also people started calling and saying, we would really like it if you would come. We want to hire you to come and talk to us about what we should learn from September 11th and so on. And I realized fairly quickly that if people wanted to really learn and hear the story, that maybe this was something worth doing. And by the beginning of 2002, I became a full-time public speaker, and I have been traveling as a public speaker ever since. I travel around the world talking about teamwork and trust, talking about my story. And again, it's not just getting out, it's how I got there and all the other parts about the story that we've been talking about today. But as Karen, my wife, and I both agreed, selling life and philosophy is a whole lot more fun than managing a computer hardware sales team and selling computer hardware. And so we switched. And as I said, I've been speaking ever since.